Picture this: a cemetery at dawn. The air is cold. Mist curls between rows of silent stones. The names are familiar: fathers, brothers, grandfathers. Each stone is a story cut short. A father who never saw his grandson's graduation. A brother who never took the fishing trip he promised. A husband who left his wife a widow far too soon. And here's the chilling truth: most of the names carved into those stones belong to men who died too soon. Not because fate demanded it, not because their bodies were beyond repair, but because they walked unknowingly into the same trap. The trap that swallows 80% of men before they could have lived their fullest years. But you, listening now, you don't have to be one of them. There's a way out. There's always a way out. Today, I'll show you how. By the age of 65, the survival curve for men plunges faster than for women. By 75, the gap is wide. By 85, only a fraction of men remain. But the cruelest part: most of these deaths are not sudden, not fate. They are slow-motion disappearances, unnoticed until it's too late. Men don't just die, they fade. One choice at a time, one surrender at a time. And when researchers dig into the why, it isn't just heart disease or cancer. It's a statistical prison, built from silence, built from isolation, built from the belief that this is just how aging works. The truth: most men die not because they are destined to, but because they live like they are already dying. Let me tell you about John. He could be anyone. Maybe he's your neighbor. Maybe he's you. John retired at 62. The first year was good. He traveled a little, fixed up the house, enjoyed his mornings. But slowly, his world shrank. The recliner became his throne, the television his only companion. His friends invited him to lunch. He said, maybe next time. His doctor warned him about his blood pressure. He nodded and ignored it. His wife noticed he slept more, spoke less, and laughed almost never. Every day, his circle of life grew smaller. And then one morning, John didn't wake up. His family said, "It happened so fast." But it didn't. It happened slowly, silently, one small surrender at a time. John didn't die at 67. He started dying at 62. And by the end, he became another man swallowed by the 80% statistic. Why do men vanish before their time? It's not just clogged arteries, not just rogue cells. It's traps, and men fall into them, generation after generation. The silent weight, stress buried under the skin, eating the heart from the inside out. The isolation spiral, the slow disappearance of friendships, until loneliness becomes the only companion. The broken routine, the slow halt of movement, as muscles vanish and vitality drains away. The quiet surrender, the whisper that says, "It's too late. This is just old age. Sit down. Fade out." This is how the 80% go, not in a blaze of glory, but in a quiet, unnoticed decline. But there's another path. Because in every graveyard, you'll also find another kind of man. The ones who broke the pattern. The ones who stood up and said, "Not me. Not yet." Men who carried fire into their 80s. Who inspired their families not by what they said, but by how they lived. They didn't escape death. None of us do. But they refused to join the 80% statistic. They rewrote their ending. And here's the code they lived by. Code 1. Move like your life depends on it. Your body is not meant for stillness. When you sit for years, your muscles weaken. Your balance falters. Even your heart, a muscle, shrinks. But movement, Even small movement is rebellion. Think of it like this: a river that flows stays clear. A pond that sits still becomes swamp. Your body is that river. George, 78, proved it. He walked a mile every morning, cane in hand, rain or shine. The neighbors laughed at first, said he was too slow, but 20 years later, George was still walking. Most of the men who laughed were gone. And here's the secret: movement doesn't just keep the body alive, it keeps dignity alive. The ability to get up from a chair without help, the ability to climb stairs without fear, the ability to carry your own groceries, to live like a man, not a patient. The men who move live, the men who stop, rust. It doesn't matter if you can't run. It doesn't matter if your knees ache. Move anyway. Move like your life depends on it, because it does. Code 2. Don't eat like a prisoner. Food can be chains or freedom. Most men eat like prisoners of habit: fast food, frozen dinners, processed sugar, salt bombs, meals built for speed, not survival. But every bite is either a lock or a key. At 65, his doctor warned him he was pre-diabetic. Frank switched his sodas for water, his chips for fruit, his burgers for fish. The first 2 weeks, he swore it was torture. By 6 months, his belly shrank, his blood pressure dropped, and his energy returned. By 70, his doctor told him, "You've added a decade to your life." And here's the deeper truth: food doesn't just fuel the body, it fuels the mood. A man who eats garbage feels like garbage. A man who eats life-giving food feels alive. Every plate is a battlefield. Every fork is a weapon. Are you fighting for life or for death? Code 3. Guard your mind. The brain is a muscle. Starve it, and it shrinks. Challenge it, and it sharpens. Men who retreat into silence, who stop learning, who numb themselves with endless TV, their minds fade, and their bodies follow. But men who read, debate, play chess, learn new skills, they light fires that even age cannot extinguish. I once met a man of 92, still learning Spanish so he could talk with his great-grandkids. His memory was sharper than men 30 years younger. Another man, 85, built birdhouses and sold them online. He learned the internet at an age when most men can't even work their phones. He said, "It keeps me alive because it keeps me curious." And science backs this. Men who keep their minds sharp lower their risk of dementia, depression, even heart disease. Your mind is your command center. Guard it fiercely, because when the mind stays alive, the body follows. Code 4. Stay in the circle of men. Loneliness is lethal, more lethal than smoking, more lethal than obesity, and yet, men isolate. We stop calling, stop visiting, stop laughing together, but brotherhood heals. Think of the veterans who meet once a month at the diner. Think of the fishing buddies who never miss a summer. Think of the men who gather at the barber shop every Saturday, talking trash and laughing loud. Those aren't just hobbies, they are lifelines. And here's something you need to hear: isolation doesn't just shorten life. A man surrounded by laughter may die at 90. A man alone may die at 70, but the tragedy is, the last 10 years of that lonely man were barely living. Men who laugh together live longer together. If you want to live long, don't walk the road alone. Code 5. Check the engine. Your car gets regular oil changes, tune-ups, inspections, but most men treat their bodies worse than their trucks. The men who live long don't avoid the doctor out of fear. They use him as an ally. They catch problems early, before they roar into killers. A simple checkup can buy you years, sometimes decades. Think of it like this. A warning light on the dashboard doesn't mean the car is dead. It means it can still be saved. Your body is the engine of your story. Maintain it, because without it, your story ends before it should. Let me tell you about Robert. At 60, he was overweight, tired, depressed. His doctor told him, "If you don't change, you won't see 70." Robert had a choice, and he chose. He started small. A 5-minute walk, a phone call to an old friend, swapping soda for water. Months became years. His body changed. His spirit ignited. At 80, Robert hiked mountains with his grandson. At 85, he danced at his granddaughter's wedding. And when he finally passed, it wasn't with regret. It was with a full story, finished on his own terms. Robert broke out of the statistic, and you can too. So here's the truth I need you to take into your bones. You are not a statistic, not unless you choose to be. 80% of men die before they could, but you are hearing this because you are meant to be part of the 20%. This is not just about living longer, but it's about living alive. So here's my question to you. When your name is carved in stone, will it be among the 80% who faded too soon, or the 20% who stood up, fought back, and lived until their story was complete? The choice begins now. Don't just watch this. Act. And if you're ready to fight back against the statistic, hit subscribe, tap like, and stay with me. Because this channel is where men refuse to die before their time.